just having a really, really great time with family, and just being around doing different things, to come up with new ideas and projects, listening to different things, online, to different mentors. And today I really, you know got to be listening to this message about different sources of income. And maybe you are here on, Instagram or Facebook or whatever that you might be, and you might be listening to me in terms of personal development and other things like, business and tips and network marketing and things like that. But today I really want to just come on for just a few minutes and talk about the reality and actually the truth behind having multiple sources of income. Like, I don't know, maybe you've heard this from some other people, from people on the internet, and from friends, from family, or maybe you've never heard this concept about having multiple sources of income. But you know what, it is something that we are trying to grow our families and our businesses and our life. We need to be really paying attention on this topic. And I'm going to tell you one thing: we are all of us, we are either going into the future with certainty, with a financial security, or we're not. That's it. There's no way in between. And there are people who actually believe that everything's okay if they just keep on doing what they're doing. If things are going to turn around, things are going to be great. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Right before Thanksgiving, and this is for most of us who are in the United States and celebrate Thanksgiving, and even those of us who are entering into the holiday season. And thank you so much for being here, for joining me. Please let me know where is that you're watching. Type number one if you're watching live, number two if you're watching on a replay. And my name is Danny Nedelko again, and I have this topic, this title: the truth behind multiple sources of income. Everybody talks about it. I mean, you might have multiple sources of income. If you depend on only one, I'm going to tell you what, my friend, it is not a really pleasant place to be if you really want to create something that surpasses your generations, and if you really want to leave a legacy for people, especially your family. So now I'm going to focus on one thing. There's a mix of gratitude in the air, because we're facing Thanksgiving. We are, celebrating with family and friends. Everybody's happy. We're thankful, and I'm thankful about you. But let's face it, there are different things happening in the mind of people. There's a mix of gratitude, as I was telling you, and stress. I remember one year, the day before Thanksgiving, I really looked at my bank account, and before I had multiple sources of income, before I did network marketing or I went into business, I remember that I was just looking at my bank account and I literally thought, how am I going to make it through the holidays? And that I was looking for every single corner to cut, like from food, from clothes, from toys for the children, from different things, even on gas. Like, that's how bad it was. And let's be real, guys. Let's be really real. I'm not saying that you should quit your job or do what you're doing currently. That's not what I'm saying right now. But what I'm saying is that there are many people like me that we have experienced, what I'm going to tell you. We have a job, or when I had my job, I was working at a TV station, and we have a lot of hours putting into our job. We get really well paid. However, somebody's raising our children, or the month doesn't last enough. We have our money coming in, but that same money that's coming in, it's going out. So I remember, like a few years back, the day or the night before Thanksgiving, and maybe this is you, I don't know, but I was really stressed. I was tired, emotionally, mentally, and physically. I was going to my job. I woke up like at 6 in the morning, I prepared to take my child to daycare, to school, literally. And I went into the office, and I was ready to go, man. I had the coffee on, and then I went into different meetings. We had corporate meetings, and we were ready to do sales. That's what I did. And I was part of the sales team in a TV station. I also did some editing. I did some commercials. I also was a part at some point of production, and also anchoring, different things. So, and it was exciting. But I want to tell you one thing: I was tired and I was stressed, because the money that was coming in, which was only one source of income, was going out very fast. Plus, I got out of got out of my house very early. I woke up at 6 in the morning, and I got home like around 6. And it was not life, and it was a time where I remember that somebody else was raising my child, and I was not happy about it. So there was a moment where I was thinking, I was really praying, and I was asking God, is there any other way? Is there anything else that can actually help me get through? Because, when you have a job and everything that comes in, goes out, you're just one emergency away from disaster. You're one single bathroom problem. You're one single, the car breaking down problem from being in a disaster. So whenever you are in this situation, it's not a pleasing experience. And I used to think, what is there? I mean, what is out there? Is there something else out there for me to do, or what can I do? And that's when I realized, there was this answer. There was no God talking to me in real voice or anything like that, but I knew that I had a voice, a phone, and I was hungry. Yes. So if you are in this situation where you're thinking, I might need to be doing something else additionally, not like an app gig, or, Amazon or Instacart or anything like that you might be thinking of, or, putting extra hours, but something that you can actually learn, duplicate, and do, and have a system that actually, even if you're not awake, that is working. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is possible. And that was where everything changed, because I was around this industry that I'm going to tell you about for quite some time. And I kind of like saw some good things, I saw some really ugly things, and I was in between. I had my job and I didn't want to do anything else. However, I started just going online and researching, and just watching many videos, and doing some, just taking a look at different things. And I learned that rich people have money. Yes, you can be rich, or you can be a millionaire, which right now, nowadays, being a millionaire actually doesn't get you through much anything. But wealthy people have freedom. Yes, wealthy people are independent, because there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. And I want to really give you a full disclosure. Yes, I'm a person of faith, and I'm not trying to preach you a prosperity gospel or anything like that, but there is a difference between you having abundance, being rich, and having wealth. There's two different things, two different scenarios. Nowadays, a lot of people say, you know what, I'm going to do such and such thing. I'm going to buy this car. I'm going to get these, clothes. I'm going to have this phone when I'm rich. I'm going to tell you one thing. There is one difference between being wealthy and being rich. And that is, when you are working and you're getting paid from one source of income, you can be, yeah, rich. You can have, some money. But the moment you stop working, the moment that you stop like bringing in the money from a business, from one source of income, that's it. That's it. You are not wealthy. But there's one thing that separates those people who maybe not. I'm not going to talk about Jeff Bezos or anybody else, or Steve Jobs or any of those super rich people. No, just think about people that actually are wealthy that you probably know of. And those people have options and they have time. And anybody, if you're living in the era of information where you have your phone, you have, internet connection, anybody can become wealthy. Anybody in the world. But it has to be your desire and it has to be something that you work on. What you do with the money is up to you. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Wealthy people have options. They have time. They have breathing room. If something happens, let's say that, I don't know, you have an emergency with your family, somebody needs to go to the hospital, and you're okay. You're not worried. You're not stressed. That is wealth. That is what wealth is called. Now, the problem is that, I grew up thinking that getting rich or that being wealthy, it's wrong. And also that it's impossible. And no, it is not impossible. Getting wealthy, it is a dream, yes. And if you have a dream to help a lot of people, a dream that just goes beyond yourself, it is attainable. But you need to get your time back. You need to have choices. You need to create legacy, and you need to stop depending from one source of income. That could be one business you have. That could be your job. That could be anything else. But let me tell you one thing: you will never become wealthy with one stream of income. You will never. Not in this economy. Not with inflation. Not with the instability that we're seeing worldwide. You're never going to become wealthy with one source of income. You might fool yourself and say, well, I have my business and I am doing really well. No, it's not possible. Now, let's talk about reality. The groceries worldwide, not only in the United States or Mexico or Europe, everywhere, they're going up. Gas is going up. Rent is going up. Mortgages, the interest rates, medical bills, insurance, education costs. And you know what? There are people losing their jobs, people who are losing business. And this is happening everywhere. But you know what? There is one solution for this. The old system will show us, or the old school showed us, that we need to go to school, get a good job, and be safe. This model is dead, is gone, is se acabó. It's not possible to actually have a decent life with this business model or with this old school model. Now, the good news is that it has never been easier to make money online right now. Yes. And all you need is a phone, is consistency, is hunger, and you need to be able to be teachable. You need to be able to open your mind, your eyes, and your heart to be teachable, to tell people who are teaching you to do the things, to learn how to have another source of income, and to be guided every step of the way. The truth is that people who start right now are the ones who are going to win next year in 2026. Right now, everybody is worried about the Christmas gifts or the New Year's or the holidays or just being off for so many weeks. Everybody's thinking about that. But I'm going to tell you one thing. If you start today, if you start thinking about, hey, what can I do to add another source of income for my family? It might be very difficult for you to think about these things, but it's not impossible. I just, I'm going to be very honest with you. I didn't start because I wanted to be a businesswoman. I started in business because I wanted to stop struggling. Yes, I started as an entrepreneur because I saw that I had many complications in my life, financial hardships, and I wanted to stop having to worry. Now, there is one thing that I wanted. That was freedom, peace, options, confidence, stability, and a way to breathe financially. And that is where I'm going to go right now. How can you get there? I got there, it was not easy. It took me some time to get there, approximately a little bit over a year to be completely stable in this business model. It took me a little bit of, over 5 years. So I'm not telling you something that is going to happen overnight, because doesn't happen. But number one, you need to be mentor. You need to go in business with somebody that already has what you want. You need to cut those years of learning on your own and follow somebody that has learned through trial and error. Yes. And number two, you need to pick a business model. You need to know what you're doing. You need to say, you know what, I want to be in this business. I want to have a business from this industry. And it doesn't have to be what I have to tell you. I'm just giving you information. You don't need to gamble. You don't need to invest huge amounts. You don't need to be perfect, but you need to find something that is duplicatable. And number three, you need to take imperfect action immediately. As soon as you get the idea, as soon as you get the mentor, as soon as you know what you're doing, you need to go into action without having to know everything. Success is messy in the beginning, but messy is okay because that's how you go faster. And messy action beats perfect excuses. Now, number four, you and I need to build before the crisis comes. The best time to start was 5 years ago, not right now. The second best time is tonight or today. Is right now. You need to start. If you're listening to this and you're like, maybe Danny is right. Maybe I need to do something else. Maybe you have a stable job. What if tomorrow it doesn't exist? What if tomorrow you'll get laid off? What if tomorrow your industry, your business has to close? What are you going to do? Now, the beauty of what I'm going to tell you has these things. You can work from your home. This is what I found that I could do. And when I found this business model, I was like, man, I go all in. You can work from your house. You can earn extra income. You can actually grow as a person. And as you grow, you start making more money. You can actually build a global business. You can build a business worldwide and have friends all over the world. You learn skills, you help people, and you also provide others with a product or service that actually helps them to get better in their health, finances, or whatever that might be. Now, a lot of people are taking advantage of this model. And I'm going to tell you one thing. The hard truth is that going into the next year with one income stream is going to be very difficult. It's going to be super, tight, and I'm not telling you this to scare you, but if you're young, if you're starting a family, or even if you already have a job and you are trying to figure things out instead of trying to cut your cost, you need to be focusing on how to generate more at the end of the month, not vice versa. How to cut on cost so you can fit all of your income and just have all your needs met, because that's never going to happen, because that's not safe. You need to be prepared. You need to be secure. And the best way to secure your financial future is for you to think bigger, for you to expand, for you to have multiple sources of income. And you can do that without having to spend thousands of dollars on another source of income. You can start today and I can help you. If you feel like this is a message that you want to learn more, we help people in a daily basis. We can get on a call, and maybe, I don't know, maybe this is something that you're looking for. Shoot me a message and tell me, Danny, I'm ready, or tonight or later on, or type here in the chat, I'm ready, and let's get to talk. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. The hard truth about depending on one income is that something will happen at some point and you're going to regret not having to take an action when you could. And maybe that's today. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope to hear from you, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.